assume that's a good thing. But no, these teams, a lot of crossover. Craigieburn Pelicans, a newer club. A lot of them have played previously for Heads of State, as well as other teams, including Chile and even Ellipsis. So I'm really looking forward to a very hotly contested pre-quarter. Winner goes through to the quarters, and we'll see Carnage coming out, seeing if they can put in the first break. Dan Cullen goes up the line, gets it, fakes the lefty backhand, instead goes under. Almost at the halfway point now. Cullen goes up the line, no one fills. Alex Nee now comes back, fills. Nee looks the inside backhand, he's seen enough, he's going to put one up. It's a one-on-one, and a little bit of contact coming through. It is a turn. And we'll see the Pelicans. It'll be Jasper Pentland walking to the disc. One streams deep, now comes under. Instead goes to Bissett. Bissett thinks better of it. Now he lets another big backhand go. And this one looks good. And that's the first goal of the game. That is Dinkelberg, the big fella.
Pelicans showing that yesterday, the game that we saw, they are more than happy to throw it long. Yesterday, having a look at their schedule, coming off of a 3-game win, 13-6 against SWU, 13-6 against Fat Chili, and 13-10 against the Brisbane Knights. However, this morning, down against Crank. If we look on the other side of the field, Melbourne Carnage were up 3 wins yesterday against Sublime Ultimate, Outbreak Apocalypse, and Extinction. Also down this morning against Fresh Chili. So both teams coming in off a loss with a bit of something to prove.
Yeah, I mean, it's identical. Not just a 3-1 scoreline, but a 3-1. Undefeated yesterday, dropped their first today. But I don't think that is the last time we are going to call Mr. Dinkelberg's name. Approaching cult hero status within Craigieburn as we have a look at their lineup there. 47, Dinkelberg catching the goal, but also Jasper Pentland, previously from Heads of State originally, then Chile. And my man Tom Bissett, 39. He'll be throwing most of the goals. As we see Melbourne Carnage's first shot at O.
Coming down through the receivers here.
So that was Dave Knight collecting. He's moved it to Matt Brown. Looking like a bit of a set play. Brown's going to have to lay out. He does. Really nice grab. Gets the boys up and about early. Doesn't conserve the greatness.
Just beyond the fingernails on that one. Asking a bit too much for extension there from Williams.
So neither team able to hold cleanly early on as we see that. Great Horro bid to save the point. Tommy Bissett. Out wide. Goes to O'Dwyer. O'Dwyer puts one up, and that's too high. AUCDII. He has it, he moves it. Jared Cowan back in, looking fresh. Goes to Knight. Knight sees the hammer, throws the hammer to advantage, and that's a goal. And that's Matty Brown.
Knight showing a lot of trust in his players here. Happy to put up a hammer early on in the game and trusting his receivers to get underneath it in the end zone when there are quite a couple of defenders already around, but throwing to advantage on that break side.
Yeah, David Knight around for about probably 20, if not 25 years. Not only did the throw go out to the break side, but you look at the actual arc of the hammer. It never really gave the Pelican a... can I call him a Pelican? I mean, that's their nickname, yeah. Never really gave them an opportunity to have a bit at the disc. So, see Cowan, he'll get it done in that access position all day. DK fakes the one around, easy as you like, and we have a 1-1 game, 2 dirty holds.
Now, in terms of today, the wind is obviously not high enough in what they're doing. If we look at the Carnage team, what do we see?
Yeah, look, I think it's a really nice mix of old and new. Old being Jared Cowan and David Knight, very, very old. But also some really fresh faces, some nice youth. We've got Jack Heron, he's a young fella. Nathaniel Bay, a really fresh addition to the team as well. So a really nice mix, whereas the Pelicans all kind of sitting in that kind of played for about 5 years phase as we see Carnage look like they're playing a junk, and Pentland goes to Bissett. Bissett holds, fakes the flick, stack is a little bit all over the place. I don't know what the Pelicans are playing, but we've got a violation. So the Pelicans looking downfield, it looks like half of them are in a horo and half of them in a vert.
They might be in the middle of transitioning from a horizontal structure to more of a vertical structure, with each one giving an advantage of space, whether it be deep and short as opposed to two main throwing channels.
Now Waller's going to have to sit off the back of the stack here. Pentland might go long. I wouldn't be surprised.
Looking for Nichols, who's got the young blood and the legs on the team.
So it's going to come back in on one. Violation clarified by the advisor. Biss.
Great switch defense happening on field.
Pentland sends Biss up the line. Wears a bit of body, but that's okay. On the sideline. Keep working it down this line. To Walker.
Aiming for the small gainers here. As the disc bubbles up, able to get a hand to it, Bissett.
Biss getting up high. If they can hit that inside flick, they'll be okay. There it is. And Pentland, good thing he's tall. He lets go a lefty flick. And that is another goal out the break side.
Into the hands of Nichols. Like we were saying earlier, Youngblood on field with legs for days. Happy to keep running and keep offering those deeper options. Carnage are going to have to reply in this next point unless they want Pelicans to pull ahead.
Well, we can see it here. It's perfect. You can see... I mean, not I told you so, but as I mentioned, that inside lane, you see a massive lane through there. If you picture that like an imaginary V, just way too much space off the front of the stack. So if you're Carnage, you need to either adjust to take away the inside or peel your defender off the front of the stack to the front of the stack to just de-incentivize that inside shot. They did neither. They paid the price. Pelicans are good. I mean, that was a great elevation to get up. As we see Dinkelberg walk in front of the camera for the goal.
Might be also that those throws are flying slightly higher as they are throwing upwind, the wind coming from the top of the screen down towards the bottom of it, meaning that those throws, as they throw towards that far sideline, are going to sit up a bit. The boys are going to have to get a bit more vertical height on their jumps as they receive it, or the throwers will have to adjust and throw a bit lower.
So we're on serve. No team. Sorry, that was the first clean hold. Knight goes to Cow, and it looks like a transition. You can hear the count going from the Pelicans.
Pelicans having used the transition zone yesterday during their streamed game that we saw.
Gotcha to Cowan. Cowan's got it. He wants to go wide. Goes to Knight.
Pelicans
Knight
calling for a find.
That's a lovely floating leading throw from Knight. He hits Matt Brown for his second goal.
And Carnage capitalizing on that transition from the zone to the match, which means that your defenders are out of position and are a bit confused sometimes. That's the best word I'm finding at this point, which is that your head is on a swivel and you're not able to capitalize.
David Knight with the assist. We're going to see a shootout, I think, today, Maroon.
It's definitely looking like a close game, a bit of a grudge match to start off with. It'll be interesting to see how the Pelicans reply now as they're going on the slight downwind of the receiving offense. Now all of the Pelicans crew gathering around the line, showing support, whereas Melbourne Carnage allowing the players to have a bit of a rest, seeking shade to rest, especially at this point in the day where it's starting to get very warm with a bit of a breeze, but it's a warm breeze.
Yeah, we are 28 in the centigrade. I mean, I take it. It's beautiful. And Melbourne Carnage keeping it clean on the stat sheet as well. Brown, 2 goals. Knight, 2 assists. 29 and a half, right.
Moving up, and when you consider running, your body temperature feels like it's 10 degrees hotter.
So this is a good pull.
Very deep stack.
Yeah, I don't think they expected the pull to be that deep. That put pressure on Pentland, and that one, I think, half the team saying down, half saying up. I think they will retract to say up. And Dinkelberg, the Dink. He moves it back. It's past Brown, but it cleaned up. Moriarty. He looks at Brown. Brown again keeps going. They're throwing around him. Finally, they throw to him. Go Youngblood. Brown stops, props, and that's an easy goal. The blonde boys getting it done. Brown to Pentland.
Moving it from that far sideline where they were a bit trapped and then happily swinging it across and moving it up this closer sideline all the way to the end, putting throws to advantage out in front of the players for them to run onto, trusting that they have legs for days today.
And Bo Brown involved in the entire point. It looks like 2 throws half went to him, but then he thought, you know what, I'll just go and actually get one. A cracking long cut, and Pentland doing the good teammate thing, not leaving him posted in that final 3-metre throw. Takes it, holds it out there, make sure everyone knows. Great work rate from Bo. Bo from very good pedigree, as we'd say. The son of Kelly Martin Brown and Teo Brown, 2 fierce ultimate competitors, stalwarts of the Australian scene.
Carnage, as they were coming on to this next point, calling for each other to have a head on a swivel, maybe looking at working a bit more through a team defense and looking to help deep, especially when those throws come up.
Well, yeah, they kind of acknowledge, you heard them say, like, we got to eat, well, we won't repeat it directly, we'll clean it up, but the sentiment was very much, we've got to clean up those half chances. Knight, inside flick.
Dinkelberg has a sniff.
It's a good bid, wasn't it? Bucknan on him. Brown, been in everything, throws to his mate, DK, Dave Knight. Gets it around to Jared Cowan. Rodney stops, throws the flat flick, half a sniff. Gets the disc back, and the stack's a little deep and a little disorganised if you're Carnage. Goes off the front of the stack to Knight, rocking the bucket hat for 22 years straight. Rodney goes up the line, charges. They have to move it back, goes to Chicken. Chicken at the brick mark. Get to Brown. Brown's been in everything, playing really well so far.
Sniffing on the end zone.
Udija. They set now. Rodney, great ankle breaker, stop, prop, goal. The old fella still got it. He broke Bissett's ankles, put him on ice and said, I'm going to throw the break goal, Youngblood. I still got it.
Great awareness of where his defender was traveling there. If we have a look at where he's going, looks off the first option. We have a quick little jab step.
Bang, got him.
Puts his defender on the back foot as he gets just ahead, and that throw comes up to his advantage, sailing slightly outside in into his hands.
Yeah, Cowan having some kind of year, has been playing both with the Carnage team, got elevated to the Juggernaut team for the Goannas Invitational. And coming off an Australian Masters campaign, which he was integral in. He's doing very, very well. So, we are 3-3 on serve. This game delivering on the anticipation thus far, Marine.
If Melbourne Carnage can create enough defensive pressure to either force an unforced error or alternatively to actually generate a block, they'll have the opportunity to pull away in this first game and cause carnage for the Pelicans moving forwards.
Yeah, I think the exciting thing is we've seen turns on both sides. It's not kind of like an offensively clean game. So we know we're going to see turns. We know we're going to see breaks. It's just a matter of how many. Pentland with it. Carnage throwing some kind of junk off the front, but they move it through to Nickel. Nickel, that's a miscommunication. That kind of went between 2 players. And Carnage have their best chance of the game. They'll be picking it up at halfway.
Carnage calling for a bit of patience.
It's a really good stack, really compact. Engages the dump. Gets to Knee. Knee looks. Knee shoots. It's going. It's up. And it's a really it's great D. Got in front. Snaffled it. What a great D.
Brilliant positioning there. Getting the shoulder in front and stopping the hand from getting to it. Looking to move it quickly off of their end zone line. Bit of a dangerous position for them to get caught in here. Just gets caught off the ground. Exceptional layout off the mat. Gets up, puts it long. We've got 2 receivers underneath it.
Oh.
That was phenomenal form from Bo Brown there.
That's shades of his father. I mean, I haven't watched Kelly as much, but definitely Teo, back in his glory days of Chile, could bid. Pretty sure Kelly can too.
Waller looking to pick up, slowly making his way there, calling for a slightly shorter stack, acknowledging that wind is going to affect it.
Agreed.
Inside. Big throw goes up. We've got a receiver under it. It's a one-on-one, and he's able to get on top of it with a bit of body there. Michael Kafra sends it back.
It's a knee with it on the sideline. Goes to Waller. Waller looks the inside flick, fakes it, sends his dump up the line. Waller, the count's getting high. He's going to jack one here. Instead, goes the wide swing. Really good composure from Waller. The Waller of yesteryear would have jacked that away. Instead, he goes the safe backhand, the and one out the side, gets it, and it's knee, and it's not in. And that is a goal just.
Able to keep his trailing foot in bounds as he puts his body out of bounds to catch that disc. That is incredible.
So Michael Kafra, number 80 with the goal.
As we see that one again, look at him just trailing the back foot infield.
And Alex Nee, nice goal, nice throw.
This is the opportunity for them to be able to pull away, to be able to take control of the game and continue their momentum. Now that is also the first break in the game from Melbourne Carnage as they look forwards. One turn in that point, but able to maintain control as they had 8 passes, showing patience, which is what they called for, head on a swivel and a bit of patience as they were moving forwards in the game.
Yeah, they had 2 opportunities with that break. The first one they got it halfway and they didn't capitalise, but that time, the second opportunity, they actually worked it up the whole length of the field, so that was really, really promising for them. But as I said, if I'm the Pelicans, there are going to be turns, there are going to be breaks. It's just a matter of how many. So now, the focus really goes, we see lovely, towed the line really, really well. He turned his back on that throw because he thought it was in, but I think he just was a bit nervous. He didn't want to see it. It was, oh, might be close. Already pre-celebration. So this will be Waller. Now they're shooting down. I'd probably, Marine, you'd say there's a slight downwind. This would be the upwind side. If you're
slight
the
downwind. Waller pulling up a second point in a row here.
Buckman, he sees one. He goes. It's Dinkelberg and Cullen. Cullen and Dinkelberg. Dinkelberg gets one. The big fella from Police Academy throws behind.
Bit of a miscommunication there between Dinkelberg and his intended receiver.
He did all the hard work.
Did all the hard work, but unfortunately just threw slightly behind his player. Didn't anticipate him running through. Bit more patience as they put the disc up. Happy to swing it. 2 Pelicans in the way. But the throw goes up. We've got a one-on-one. A bit of a height mismatch, but that doesn't matter. Bissett's got the jump on him.
It's not the what is it? It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of fight in the dog.
Bissett showing that a height mismatch is nothing for him when he considers his height that he was able to get on that one. Not only is he a very strong offensive handler, but he is more than happy to be a very strong defensive handling receiver.
Yeah, Bissett, not that we're taking credit for it, but Bissett, an old heads of state player. That's just a bit of mongrel and ticker right there, and I can tell you where he learned it. What a man. That was great. And like I said, Marine, his positioning. He knew that, you know, jokes aside, like he had a big height mismatch. He went, right, I'm going to put my body right in between the disc and where you want to get. So at best, you're going to have to poleaxe. You're going to have to foul me. It was really strong D. Didn't give up on it.
Nichols
Buckman
starting the movement early. Dinkelberg gets it on the sideline, moving it up the sideline through Pentland. Pentland puts it up high. Nichols is in a one-on-one, going to have to read this as it comes down. Gets a hand to it.
That's a goal.
Double happiness. Gets a second hand to it. Lays out to grab it as it bobbles off of his first attempt.
And a huge second chance point. They are the opportunities the Pelicans are going to need to take to keep this game close.
As we see that one again, Pentland winds up the backhand. Beautiful outside in sailing all the way over. As both boys goes up, Nichols tries to get it first time, bobbles out of the hands second time as he lays out. The disc is not down until it hits the ground, and that is exactly what he has shown us.
And a nice put, even though the first touch was from a defender, a nice put from Pentland, part of the left-handed mafia. Shout out to you, Jasper. I didn't think he was going to throw it, and then gets up and gives it a little boot. I don't mind the kick spike. Kick spike, controversial. Not everyone loves it.
Yeah,
personal thoughts?
I was about to say I'm not a massive fan of just damaging the general equipment, especially now that they're calling for another one. But, you know.
Irresponsible, -1 spirit point. Mate, I'm pro kick spike. Boot the thing. Launch it.
Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on celebrations and on kick spikes versus spiking a disc. We are more than open to having the discussion.
Yeah, jump in the chat. I'm no rim spike. A rim spike where you taco the thing, that's a bit much. But I like a kick spike.
I don't mind a celebration. We've seen a couple of them in the earlier women's games streamed. It'll be nice to see some coming through the Opens games as well. As the pull comes on up from the Pelicans, sailing just inside their defending end zone.
So it's Cowan. He's picking up. He goes to Knight. Knight, they move it out nicely already at their brick mark. Knight goes up the line. He's covered really well. Lovely inside break to Cowan. Cowan, he wants the inside flick. Now instead elects to throw open side to Chicken. Chicken, nice gainer to Jake Williams. Jake Williams on the sideline, looks to Jacket instead, throws the under, and once again, you know who is having some kind of game. That is Matt Brown for his third goal.
Now what we saw from Carnage there is that they actually came out in a side stack, which allowed them to generate some movement through the middle of the field. And as soon as they had movement on the middle and the far side of the field, they then transitioned into a center stack. If we see that throw again, as it comes up, looks to pivot, puts up a big throw that just gets jumped in one hand, no issues. As we move through the game, it is 5-4. Carnage leading. If they're able to put another one on the board, they'll have a bit more separation for a bit more comfort. Pelicans looking at flying beak first into this game, staying toe-to-toe.
Oh, it's game on if you're the Pelicans. They know they're not going to drop their heads. There's been scores. I mean, the other important thing, Marine, is there've been scores upwind and downwind, right? So it's not like it's, the upwinder is a big,
game making.
Issue. Yeah, it's like, all right, cool, we've done it, they've done it, who cares, play on. They've still got confidence. They, throwers on both teams, some big cannons, so they're not dropping their heads one little bit.
Both sides showing they are comfortable in both the wind, and now as the wind is dying down, it'll be interesting to see how the Pelicans adapt their offensive structure, coming out in a horizontal, centering it. Pentland behind the disc, moves it through the ranks, further forwards, looking for a power position, doesn't quite find what he wants.
And so Buckman with it. He pivots around, he gets it to Pentland, who's having some kind of game early on. He lets the flick this time go, and that one is teed. There's a little bit of contact, so the players are going to check on each other. Great athleticism from both players. No intentional contact, but we're going to make sure everyone's okay. We'll take a moment just to make sure that everyone's all right. So there'll be an injury call and no foul. I think the issue, or the injury itself, was actually a bit of head contact. So we'll see Dinkelberg take the field. Great effort from both players. And we'll see Alex Nee, he'll come to it. And welcome back. Doing it all at the moment, aren't you?
Doing it all. I'm off the clock as a physio, but I'm still on the clock. Can't switch the brain off.
I was going to say, if you do it, just make sure you send an invoice, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Send after my invoice.
Dan Cullen, he has one. He shoots long. It's a one-on-one, and one of them's Dinkelberg. He's got the sit. It's bobbled, and it bumps out.
I was about to say, as Dinkelberg goes down the line, he is a defensive, very strong force to be reckoned with, but more than happy to move the disc.
Yeah, he got the better of Kafra there, got the position. Bo Brown up the line, doesn't throw. Instead goes to Penland lets the lefty backhand go. And Kaffra gets one back on him, but he's going to have to do it twice because Dinkelberg's there. And Dinkelberg scores the goal. And Rabbit can only look on in disgust. His team did all the right things.
That should be a bookend, surely.
I think it pretty much is.
Dinkelberg showing that he's more than happy to just continuously run sprints of the field from the defensive side, getting in the attacking end zone into their side. If we have a look at that one again, both boys get under it. Second try, Dinkelberg and Nickel sharing a moment under a Frisbee.
What a great battle between him and Kaffra at both ends. One, Kaffra had it first and Dinkelberg hit it down, and then right up the other, Kaffra got it first. But you could always tell the nature of that D. Dinkelberg was always going to have a second bite at it.
It's always good to have bodies under the disc, and it's always good to see that all of the players want it. As soon as the disc is up in the air, it's anyone's Frisbee.
Yeah, good battles. I'm really enjoying the long battles. Both teams pretty happy to shoot. Ride the lightning.
Bissett out with the disc here. Proving himself to be a staple of on the line. As the pull comes up. Lovely outside in. Sails a bit center. Caught by Melbourne Carnage just outside their defending end zone. Moving the disc quickly up that far sideline. Up comes the throw. Got a couple bodies under it. Two defenders closing in. Doesn't matter. Sails over the top of him. Goes all the way into Matthew Brown's hands.
And that is his fourth goal. Matthew Brown having some kind of game. Carnage have scored 6 goals. Brown has caught 4 of them. And it was a lovely put. Vochnan probably just running under it a bit. Didn't get the read perfect. But it was Gote, 94. Chicken, as he's affectionately known. And the sideline's starting to get a little bit restless here in a good way. Heads of State, obviously a club with a number of teams, one of them being Melbourne Phoenix, who are here on the sideline out of the women's division. So if you can hear the sound of wrought iron being banged, that is the Melbourne Phoenix ladies being very unruly. And it is 6-5. With a lot more frizz to play. Just the one break.
Pelicans with the opportunity to reply here. Now, they've come out, I know, a couple times with 2 times having scored straight off the mark with a clean hold.
Clean holds, yeah. Point.
Disc coming up. Beautiful, long pull. Putting them plenty of time. Unfortunately, too long, though. Giving plenty of time for the defense to get down there as they bring the disc up towards the brick mark, I believe.
And while we bring that in, so we just saw Buckman calling the brick. Buckman rocks the bucket hat. I think we've got Walsh out there. We've got David Knight with the bucket hat. What's your thoughts on what's your position on the bucket hat?
Very sun-safe. But I don't know, as a receiver in the downfield myself, I don't mind wearing a cap, but I feel like a bucket hat would just be flopping a bit and distracting. But that might just be me.
I don't think they have a lot of self-respect as people. I just don't think you can wear a bucket hat and have any kind of dignity. But anyway, whatever works. So, they come in.
Pentland puts the head down, just runs
Good,
deep, gets looked off.
High count now. Oh, nice bid from Dan Cullen. Moriarty equal to the task. He goes to Pentland. Pentland punts it. It's got a bit of outside in, but it'll work. They're right on the end zone line. It's Liam Smith. No, he's in. What an electric point. Carnage stepping up the defensive intensity, and Pelicans going, not only are we equal to it, we'll do it one bit better.
Putting another clean hold on the field, on the board, as we have maybe a bit of cramping happening in the calves as we watch that one happen again. Throws, moves to the sideline. Beautiful bid. Gets put by Pentland. Pentland takes it. Puts in an outside-in flick. Gets caught straight off the mark by Liam Smith. Sails beautifully into his hands.
He's angry, Dan. He's angry he didn't get that D. Cranky old man.
Well, it's fair enough to be angry when the game is as important as it is. If we watch that one again, just gets obscured by a shoulder.
Pentland, that is his 4th assist. Ooh, he's cooking. He's cooking. Let him cook, chef.
Carnage to reply.
Dinkelberg with the pull. He goes with the outside in, a bit more conservative, understanding the win. It'll be Cowan. He picks up off the bounce, goes to Dave Knight in that bucket hat. Goes to his mate, Matty Brown, having some kind of game himself.
Calling for no unders from the Pelicans, but they're letting them out.
A lot of pressure around the disc. Knight in the middle of the field at the brick mark. Has one go break, has one go open. He goes upstairs to Chicken. Chicken has one deep if he wants. Instead, no, he does go long. It's going to be a 3-on-2. It's a pack grab. Oh, Brown had his chance at his 5th, and it bobbed out. I think there was also a call, but it should, I reckon the turn will stand.
We'll see it again there. Boys get up. Bit of contact as they go up and come down.
Definitely had a hand on it, and they're going to wave it away. Good. We're getting thumbs up from the crowd. We're getting good reviews, yeah. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Yep.
Pelicans taking their time to go pick it up.
Why wouldn't you? I actually think that's a good call. Like, this game has had a lot of high energy. Both teams have a quarter. Well, sorry, one team will have a quarter after this. You never want to think ahead, but at the same time, you're not going to be able to sustain this intensity for an entire 70 minutes.
It's also that controlling the pace of the game can help control the outcome of the game. If you are more than happy to, thank you. If you're more than happy to take your time to move the disc around as people are streaming deep, it might give you that little edge, as we're seeing here. Pelicans moving it through the middle, looking for an option, looking for a reset. Bit of a disconnect there, but it doesn't matter. Able to get a hand to it. Bit static through the receivers. Handlers doing a bit of a job, pushing it between each other, not finding a connection downfield as Bissett comes into the space, decides to take over and take control, moves it through Dinkelberg. That's a connection we've seen before. Dinkelberg on the sideline, looking for the option, moves it through the middle again.
You can't let that inside flick out if you're Chicken. You're on the sideline there. You've got your team where they need to be, as we see a travel call that will go back. Dinkelberg's a good thrower, but he's not an elite thrower. Like, don't allow that inside flick. It just releases all the pressure you've worked so hard to build. Got to be better.
Disc staying with Pentland.
Yes, I think it was a travel call that didn't affect.
I think it was a pick call.
Yeah.
As he puts the disc up, looking for the option, looks for the greatest. Unfortunately, no one in the area to clean that one up.
A live shot, though, I reckon.
We have an injury call coming from him, though. Graham calling himself an injury, walking off with an occasional little skip, hoping he's okay through the calves and hammies.
You're going to be able to send a couple invoices in today, I reckon. Do you want to go check on him, or?
Nah, not a head knock. He'll be right. They've got physios for that.
Separate off cashies, or it's all invoiced, all through the ATO?
Listen, you've got to keep the books clean, you know?
Yeah,
especially when I'm on a live stream.
I believe you. I believe you. Wink. Why are you winking at? Why is the wink, wink, nudge, nudge happening at the moment? All right, so it's going to be another turn. We'll see Knight going to it. And we are probably at the hottest point of the day. The players out there, long points, they're going to be baking.
We have a bit of that bracket setting itself up, calling Dinkelberg to take on the deep shot.
Bang!
There it goes. He's in the area already, trying to get a hand to it. No worries. He's a tall boy. Moving it quickly off the mark. Up it goes. There's only one receiver in the area. He can get two hands to it to secure that score.
And that's Irvin Toe with the goal running on. End-to-end stuff.
Pelicans getting around it.
End-to-end stuff.
As we see that one again, Dinkelberg grabs the intercept, passes it along to Smith. Smith winds up the flick, puts it up in the air, sending it to Irvin Toe into the end zone. What a way to take the half.
And that is, as you say, the first half action in the can. Pelicans with their noses. Pelicans have noses? Beaks. Pelicans with their beaks in front, but it is all on serve. They got the break right at the death of the first half to take the edge. You can see it, one break apiece, 7 turns apiece. It is on a knife's edge. We will be back shortly. We're going to jump in, listen to the huddles. We'll be back for all the second half action shortly. And welcome back for what's going to be a cracking second half. If you're just joining us, you've missed everything and not a lot at the same time because we are on serve. Craigieburn Pelicans with their beaks in front. As we see the pool go up, Marine, it's been an electric first half.
It definitely has. During the halftime, Craigieburn Pelicans calling for their team to keep lifting 1% each time, give everything on field because this is a hard game, but they are rewarding their wins. As we see Craigieburn Pelicans putting pressure on Carnage. Carnage moving it relatively comfortably around the field, looking for options. Over the top hammer into the reliable hands there. Winding up. Open unders.
Yeah, Carnage just need to keep doing the same thing here. The last thing you want to do when it's on serve is drop an open point after half. Cowan. Williams goes to Chicken. Stacks a little deep, so it's a little bit, creates a bit of stagnation now. The handlers move between. They give the stack time, and that one from Chicken is just an unforced turf straight into the ground. The Pelicans have a chance to put a dagger in right after half, exactly what Carnage didn't need.
Bissett, who we've seen pick up the disc before, walking up to it, making his time. Looking for Dinkelberg, that connection that we are all too familiar with. Dinkelberg
and if I'm Carnage, I don't mind Dinkelberg getting a 5-metre pass on the open side. What I do, and there's another turn. That's a gift for Carnage.
Pentland on the
Again,
mark.
The stack a tiny bit deep. It'll work. They get one off the front. And a shot goes up. Dinkelberg there, gets a hand on it, but Wagner manages to clean it up. And they do it the hard way. But Melbourne Carnage convert their first goal after half to bring it to 7 goals apiece.
Looking into the last half, we were at 1 break each. No breaks yet on the board for this second half. As we see that come again. Disc goes just out of hand. Moving it through to the closest sideline. Disc comes up. Gets taken down after a hand from Dinkelberg nonetheless. Still bobbles into his hands.
We're going to be joined by someone from the Carnage team shortly. Got a bit of a no comment strafing from Jay Cowan.
Trying to pull a bit there on your social capital, and
I
think they're all a bit focused on the game at this point in time.
I've lived with the guy for 10 years. I was like, oh, probably fair enough. He just says hello to me, but anyway. Too good for me.
Disc coming down. Centering it to Pentland.
And now, Pelicans at their brick mark. They move it just forward.
As they move forward, taking it high, securing it on the closer sideline. Looking to get it off that sideline, but a hard no around mark makes it throw. Just have to go out of sight, out of mind. Looking to capitalize on the deep throw. Losing his hat, but that doesn't matter. Getting through it anyway. Carnage moving through the middle. Resetting it. Bit of contact there, but that is okay. Doesn't stop their momentum. Carnage looking to get it, gets picked up by the fingertips of Waller. Waller moves it further along. We're with Verhoff. Verhoff, unfortunately, a turn gets generated. Pentland picking up.
And nothing looked right in that offense for Carnage. It was all very 50-50, haphazard. So they eventually ran out of luck. So now the Pelicans have an opportunity to convert. They're going to have to do it the hard way. They're right on their end zone line, just forward of it. Dump goes up the line. Hospital pass goes up, and that one's going to be D'd. That was a bit of a high stall count, kind of hit and hope
physicality being turned up a notch in this second half. We're seeing a lot of these close defensive pressures where we've got a bit of shoulder on shoulder, as well as a couple more bids in the first couple of points of this hit out.
You're right. The first half was electric. It was also a bit of bruise-free footy. So this time, both teams putting their body on the line a little bit more. And as those tired legs start to creep in, a bit of grit, a bit of temerity will come out. Intestinal fortitude. Let's see if Waller's got it. He's on the brick mark of his end zone line, on the sideline, shoots, scores.
That's into the hands of Kafra.
And Kafra having some kind of game as well. Engaged in a cracking battle with the Dink, old mate Dinkelberg.
In that second shot at the scoring the goal, showing a bit more composure from Carnage, looking a bit more clinical in their offense.
And that's especially true of my mate, Chris Waller. And I've been critical of him in the past. Sometimes can get a bit impulsive. He's the one to kind of throw away. But he was really composed in that shot. Probably saw one or two that he could shoot in. But this time, took his time. Nice low release. Completely unmarked, really. So a great option from Waller.
And that is the first break for the second half of this game, as we're looking forward to the grudge match that is very much so unfolding like you predicted between Melbourne Carnage and Craigieburn Pelicans. Carnage up 8-7.
Yeah, still super close. I think we're going to see a grandstand finish regardless. If it's not universe, it'll be 1 point either way.
And the sidelines have shown also that they can give energy not only on field, but they are more than happy to keep supporting their team whilst they are in a switched off position on the sidelines, giving voice, giving information, and giving encouragement.
Buckman takes the disc with that bucket. Oh, gee, Kafra was sniffing a Callahan there. Gets to Brown. Brown getting busy. Up towards the brick mark now. Buckman goes up the line. Instead it goes to Bissett. Bissett has a nice wide gainer. That's an excellent throw to Liam Nickel. Nickel looks at the flick, throws the flick. Buckman, their old Chile teammates. He goes out with the break flick. Not enough pressure from Carnage's force. They need to lock down the force if you're Carnage. We hear backhand now locked in.
Slowing down a bit on the cuts from the downfield receivers, but that doesn't matter. Buckman's in the area. Nichols is providing a bit of help, but that just gets eaten up. Knocked out of the way by Michael Kafra. Getting height and hands to it.
I feel like we're calling his name a lot. He's in everything, both sides of the disc. That's at least his second, if not his third D, so playing well. And Buckman's cut, I'd say, was also really good. It was more just like a throwing error, if anything. They're cutting off the back of the stack. Buckman, I think, is having a really good game, despite some of his sartorial choices. Not my cup of tea, but
taking their time to get it moving off of that sideline. Walsh calling for it, but gets looked off. Nickel putting on the jets to try get deep. Finding his player, maybe a bit lost on field.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah, they're not organised.
Which is not what we've seen from the Craigieburn Pelicans before. As the disc goes up, there is no one challenging that put. Gets eaten up by Melbourne Carnage.
Yeah, and that throw just a laser. You could see both Bissett kind of trying to help Brown, but the shape of the throw, the angle of the throw just gave neither of them a sniff.
That is the second break in a row for this second half as we see that one come in again. The throw goes on up. The Pelicans just not flying in this half.
Oh, I see what you did there, really.
Flying into a timeout called.
Wow.
Trying to take their time maybe to reset the mindset as they were coming out of half, because this is not the Pelicans that we have seen in the first half. We're going to go have a quick little listen into their timeout circles. We'll be right back. Coming out of the first time out of the second half of the garage match that is developing between Melbourne Carnage and Craigieburn Pelicans. Melbourne Carnage pulling ahead 9-7 in this second half. Craigieburn Pelicans taking a moment to call a timeout and reset their mindsets, reminding themselves that how they showed up in the first half is how they want to show up, if not more, in the second half. Receiving here, disc bounces just inside the line.
And it's Buckman with the disc. He'll take it, and a lovely inside hit to Tommy Bissett, having some kind of game he is. He goes long under to Moriarty. Moriarty hits Pentland, and Pentland to Dinkelberg, and that's as bruise free as you'll see a point. No one laying a glove on anyone in yellow. And someone needs to remind Carnage that the timeout finished 30 seconds ago.
If we have a look at that one again, we'll see that as he puts the disc up to an unmarked player, we've got a Poachy defense behind in the end zone, but that doesn't matter because they're able to move it up the line. No worries with Michael Dwyer, Rolf Dinkelberg putting in 3 goals to his name.
Yeah, and I think again, it's a little bit of a cliche, but after those 2 breaks, Pelicans calling one just to bring it in and regain their composure, 100% the right call.
If we look on there, we've got 3 goals, 1 block and 1 turn to his name, being an absolute workhorse for this team, despite what I heard was a little visit to the hospital last night.
Yeah, we won't go into the same amount of renal issues. Just something to work out with the plumbing for old Dinkelberg, but he's still repping the, what do you call it? The
hospital band.
Just so everyone knows he's tough.
But listen, he made the decision with medical intervention.
Against doctor's orders, is that what you say?
Well,
Against medical advice?
Well,
AMA?
not AMA, but just saying that, you're an adult, you decide for yourself, but it's probably not medically advised. You do you.
You do you.
And in fact, he has done himself. There we go. On field.
Cowan goes to Knight. Knight and Cowan need to bounce it around until the stack work themselves out. They're not seeing anything they like, so it's putting a lot of pressure on the handlers. Chicken gets one. He's got to be safe. He goes with the open stance backy. That's good. Looks to Wadija. Cowan has it on the sideline. Looks at Williams. Williams goes up the line. He charges up the line. Hits a massive raking inside. Break flick. That's spectacular to Matty Brown. Matty Brown, the Buckethead brothers. Him and DK. Instead,
Pelicans not putting too much pressure on those unders, allowing Carnage to work their way up, but that doesn't matter as a little hook on the finger takes the Frisbee past where he wants to throw it. Cohen, unfortunate with the throwaway.
The right angle throw, look at this. Boom.
And you can see straight off the bat that he is pretty disappointed in himself. Uncharacteristic from him as well as what we've seen.
I've seen more than a couple of turns from old Rodney. Oh, he's not going to enjoy watching that one back. I reckon I taught him that one. The old shake. Chicken. Bissett goes up the line. Has a look at the flick. Instead, it goes up over the top. Nice throw from Tommy.
Takes advantage of the face mark.
Nice. O'Dwyer now to Walker. Walker shoots one. It's got angle on it. Cowan in there. But Dinkelberg gets it, and they get one back. And there's a face spike. That's okay. The face spike's all right, not a rim spike. And Dinkelberg once again, my man in everything.
And that is their first break on the board for this second half, showing that coming out of that timeout was probably the right call for what they needed, making sure that they are able to take a bit of time to reset their mindset, put their brain back into gear, put their body back into gear, and being able to bring it for the second half. We are 9 apiece. Carnage versus Pelicans.
And I know I take the mickey, but good players don't really make mistakes. Great players play right on the edge, and if they do make a mistake, they're back in, they're better for the next shot, right? And so if you're Jared Cowan, you go, yeah, okay, guess what? I pushed that one a bit hard. but he is a leader on their team. They all look up to him. The last thing he needs to do is go back in his shell, fully back him in to do a good job and recover from it.
Game advisors keeping us to time as we look at going forwards, keeping the whistles going. Double whistle indicating that the offense should be set, foot on the line, ready to receive the disc.
All right, and it's Knight. He catches high. He goes to Cowan. Cowan looks the flick. Instead, engages DK on the dump. DK goes up the line, a cracking long throw. Pentland peeled off, so it means there's a poach out the back. It's Bucknan. Dinkelberg closing in quickly, and Dinkelberg from nowhere. He gets the D. It was the right shot. It was a percentage shot. Pentland peeled off the front. It meant there was a player free.
But unfortunately for the Carnage, Dinkelberg showing not only that he has height, but he also has speed, and he's more than happy to use both when it comes to defending that end zone from any attack.
Ooh, it starts to get a tiny bit of nerve starting to creep in now.
Entering the 60th minute of the game, 9 apiece. It is a tight game as we are looking for a reset from Pentland, moving it up the sideline. Looking for an option, not seeing what he wants. Gets it back to Pentland. Pentland calling for some movement.
Just cracks him.
Telling them, please keep doing something. We need movement.
I think that's a polite way of what he said.
Unfortunately, just bounces off the chest. Carnage looking to capitalize quickly, but unable to find the connection for the quick turn.
They've just got to chill. The last thing, they don't need a run and gun. This is exactly right. Just bounce it around. That was not the shot.
But unfortunately, trying to cram it just on that front far side end zone cone and unable to keep to his feet and get a hand to it at the same time. Nearly takes out the cone as we go. Calling an injury from that one. We're hoping he's okay. Now, in this type of game, like we've been saying in previous games, you would typically also see, like we are right now, that Pelicans are also subbing a different player to get a bit of fresh legs and fresh blood on the field. It's a tactical move, especially when it comes to the second game of the second day of a 3-day tournament, looking to manage legs and manage fatigue.
Well, that's the thing. You've always got to take like consideration of like the game sense, right? But on paper, if you have a chance to sub a player that's been playing for a long point with a fresh player, it's a no-brainer. You know, so it's that balance of like, do you take the free switch, or do you go, you know what, we're going to back the line even though they might be a bit fatigued. So I get both sides, but on paper, you make that switch every day of the week because the other team are doing that as well.
Pentland on the sideline here, moving it to Dinkelberg. That connection we've seen before. Passing it further along, swinging it, but still very much so in the defending end zone. Looking for a throw up the line to Dinkelberg. Putting in a shift, passes it around, getting it through. That's Jack Bray with the disc, moves it further along to the far sideline. Pentland keeps getting it. Graham looking for an option. Looks for the inside throw to the back corner. Unfortunately, unable to connect with hands, and Carnage having a little celebration that they have forced that turn.
And as we see the players taking a breath, we're joined by one of the foundational members of Heads of State, the original founding club of Melbourne Carnage, Francis Matthew Simmons. Frank, you haven't watched a game of Frisbee in a while. What's going through your mind when you watch your young Chargers wearing the jumper that you once repped?
Very impressed with the level of Central Victoria. Energy's high. I'm very impressed with that team. I'm liking the energy.
Well, one of your founding members out there, David Knight's there, as we see Voknan. He goes to Chicken. He gets it to halfway. Chicken fakes the flick. Instead, goes under, thinks better of it, goes to knee, toes the line. Knee directing and then calls a timeout. So, Francis, you played with David Knight back in that original year. Are you impressed that he's still got the wheels?
Incredible longevity, to be honest with you. I mean, when he was a young whippersnapper, I always thought he had great energy, great vibe. It's very impressive.
Well, it's almost like he's the Scotty Pendlebury and you're the Dane Swan. Like, he's still going around and you're just kind of there sitting on the sidelines, maybe a couple of tins. You know, do you get any temptation to get back out there and strap on the boots?
Well, before today, I thought probably not much of a chance, but seeing him out there.
Inspired you?
Absolutely.
David in his bucket hat inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, just to see an old player like Dave still out there and competing, doing his best, and it is very inspiring for an older player like myself who hasn't played for a while, but to see him there is, it does inspire me to sort of dust off the old cleats and see if I can still run around.
Inspiring. Another close friend of yours, Jared Cowan, little Canadian out there. Must be heartwarming to still seeing him not only get it done, but be an integral part of this team.
Absolutely. Look, Jared's been just a real engine room player for a long time, and I'm not surprised at all to see him out there in the thick of things.
Francis, thank you very much for joining us. You're a legend of the club, and you'll be sorely missed, and let's hope you strap on the boots soon. All right, so Alex Nee, quite rightly, showing some leadership, calling the timeout. He's going to bring it in, but he has also allowed all 7 players from the Pelicans to get in there.
Well, now, for people who haven't watched Frisbee before, once you come in from a timeout during a point, offense get a chance to set before defense get a chance to set. In it goes! Clinical offense straight off the mark. What a beautiful point.
And so we had a representative from Head to State not too long ago. Now we're joined by proud dad. Proud dad of Beau Brown, Teo Brown. Teo, I know you just arrived, but let me tell you, your little one's having, I say little one, your son's having some kind of game. You must be very proud.
Yeah, enjoying it. I'm a little bit distracted from my own game over there. So, no, it's beautiful. Nice to see he's enjoying it. That's the key thing.
So 10-9, Carnage with their noses in front. What would your message? I mean, Beau's very much in the zone. You don't want to disrupt him. But if you could talk to him, what would the message be?
Oh, look, he's got it under control, mate. You got it under control.
You've
Go
changed,
hard.
Mate. You've changed.
Get the block!
Get the block. That's
what you wanted, wasn't
Give
it?
the people what they want. All right, Teo, sit down. Look forward to a grandstand
Love
finish.
you, mate.
Frisbee, Victorian Frisbee royalty, Teo Brown.
Carnage replying to Craigieburn Pelicans having put 2 on the board just beforehand. Carnage showing that they are not done with this game either, taking a couple tries to get that one in. However, more than happy to work it up with 7 passes by the end of it. As they come on down, Pelicans moving it through their reliable Pentland and Bissett.
Oh, Bissett's playing some kind of game.
Keeps moving it over. Looking for a shot up. Overthrows Nickel, unfortunately, which just gets eaten up by Carnage. Carnage looking to move it quickly. Not many people behind the disc waiting and looking for an option to move. Gets it to Nee. Nee moving it to Cullen. Cullen waiting for an option. Not finding quite what he wants. Gets it to Waller.
So Waller with the disc is at the brick mark, but the stack's way too deep. He puts Cullen up the line. Big dishy push pass.
Now they have an option here to be able to capitalize on that break side like they are right now. Finds it at the front of the end zone line. Keeps it moving to solidify a second win against Pelicans. Pelicans down 9-11. They've got a couple more minutes left in the game to be able to try to bring it apiece. Now when we're looking at our stats for him, we are looking specifically at Matthew Brown, who has 4 assists in the game. Looking through to Michael Caffra, who has 3 assists. And 2 blocks to Daniel AUCDII, who's got 2 assists, 1 goal, and 1 block on the board.
Yeah, and AUCDII, and I'll get this pronunciation wrong and get put into cultural sensitivity training, but dedicated to Posso from Chicken was the shout out from AUCDII. So shout out to you, Posso. So we're at the 68-minute mark. For those just joining, we do go to 70, so we've got 90 more seconds till the soft cap.
Now in this tournament, it is game to 13. In the tournament, it is game to 13, where we are looking quite close to that number. Carnage hoping to solidify this, as it is a really crucial game going forwards in the tournament.
Well, your tournament ends if you don't win it, so yeah, I'd say you're right.
Moving it through Nickel. Youngblood on field.
Is he that young? You keep calling him young. He doesn't look especially young. He's not the Chicken. Hey, nice grab. Keeps it up. Bo Brown, Teo's man. Fakes the backhand. Bissett goes up the line. Bissett gets the easy one. Bo goes. Bo's still on. The legs, they're getting heavy now. They're getting heavy. No one's cutting. Koo,
who we saw go down earlier in the game with an injury, back on field, moving okay.
Oh, he throws it on a 6 count. Gets to Smith. Smith up the line to Koo. Goal. Backpacked for good measure. But he's okay. Jeez, he's having some kind of game. Koo is in everything. And if you know how old Liam Nicol is, let's just drop it in the chat.
Oh, he's got to be 25, 26.
I mean, yes, it's young. I wish I was 25, 26, but it's not. It's not a buoyant of youth, is it?
No, but he is still in the age range, I've heard, apparently, where you can still complain about if your knees hurt in the morning, but once you reach past the 30 mark, you've got to stop complaining.
No,
apparently.
I don't want to hear any of that. Anything under 30, no chance.
Another timeout called here, maybe.
Yeah, all right, we're going to listen in. Critical final messages from each team. So coming out of the timeout, we're in the final stanza of this game. It is the Pelicans 10, Carnage 11, and we play to 12.
Messages from the Pelicans on the way out of this timeout was that they are playing a mongrel on field, playing 100% with the game not yet finished, and they are more than happy to play the game. And they're saying that it's a game to 2. So they've got to get one on the scoreboard to even it out to Universe, and then one more to secure their position and their standing to continue in this tournament.
I mean, you feel that it's all on this next point. Like, if obviously if Carnage score, that's it. But in Universe point, doesn't really matter who starts on O at this level.
And you can see the Pelican boys on the sideline moving with the disc as well, getting around their teammates, looking to put hard defense on, shutting down the handlers.
Oh, God. Got one going deep. Brown's going deep. He wants his 6th goal of the game, which is ridiculous to say. Moriarty's called a pick off the front of the stack on the break side, which I think is a bold call. Surely it's a catch-up. Yeah, okay. Moriarty not calling it. He said that didn't affect. Well done, mate. Bissett urging the Pellies on from on field, getting the sideline up and about. They need to score this. Cowan, first cut's shut down. Instead bails out, but there's a turn, and it's Buckman with the turn.
Pelicans have a chance to get it back now, having to show a bit of patience and composure when they're looking at moving it. Bissett looking at directing, getting some hand signals up there. Looking through their stack, cutting it from the back. Buckman on the disc in that same handler position that we have seen him in before. Looking to reset it to Bissett. Handling team working together.
Bissett and Williams, it's a great matchup. You know, you speak about mongrel. There are two mongrels out there. They've got it on the end zone line. Cowan wants to keep it on that sideline. Don't let it bounce out. The big wide around, shut down. Count getting up. Inside out, backhand. It's going to the back, and it's Tom Bissett catching the goal, giving it a little bit of action.
And we have got a Universe point game on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
Huge point. Tom Bissett urging the team on. We called it earlier in the point. He was turning to his sideline and saying, come with us, lads. We saw Buckman with a big D. Then Bissett charges fearlessly up the line. On a high count. Realised it wasn't going to be ideal. It was an open release backhand stance. Knew there was someone closing in. Both players doing well to avoid contact. But by jingo, by crikey, we've got a game.
Now at this point in the game, in a Universe point game, Universe point, what are your thoughts on calling a power line?
That's a really good question. If you do that, that's fine. Like if you regularly do that, if you regularly call lines, call a line. If you stray from your traditional structures and go, actually as a one-off for the first time we're going to call a line, I think it ruins your chemistry. So it really depends what the team has talked about. And this is why training is so important. Schedule this. Like you said yourself, the message from the Pelicans was game to 2. They would do that week in, week out of training. So if you regularly call kind of crunch or power lines or whatever you want to call it, great. But if not, if the 7 that you started the game with were good enough, they're good enough at the end. What about you?
I agree. I think that it works if you've been calling them before and if they've trained it before. If it's just the first time that they're playing together and you're mixing your O&D players, I don't think it works out too well for you.
And they've called an offside. I mean, it wouldn't have been a brick. They've called the offside.
So an offside allows the offensive players who have called it to gain meters, to bring themselves in at the brick mark, which puts them in a better position just tactically to be able to use both sides of the field. Setting up in a pretty well-positioned stack.
All right, Waller's with the disc. Waller goes the open flick. It's a little bit high, but Chicken reels it in. Chicken has it on the wide line. Waller goes up the line, is covered well. Knight comes out, safe. Goes the open backhand. Waller throws wide. They're using the width really well. Vaknin, he has it. He's played well today. Waller with the face mark. Zigged and zagged, but he bids, keeps it alive. He pump fakes. Vaknin in the dump space. Then goes wide around. And Pentland, he's got the run through. And he's called a tie. He's called an injury. And I think he's cramped. He's cramped, but that doesn't stop him from calling his replacement. It's going to be Beau Brown with the disc. Kelly and Teo watch on with bated breath.
Will Carnage replace a player?
I think this early into a point, you probably don't. So they've got to defend the house here if you're Carnage. Pelicans have a chance to advance to the quarterfinals. Brown, there's a high count. Knight doing well. It's getting up. Open backhand. It's safe. Gets it to Bissett. They can't allow that inside flick. They can't allow Bissett's inside flick. He has to go around. He does. He retreats, but it's to the middle of the field. They're safe. Varkman gets faked off. Goes to Bissett. They keep retreating, but they're maintaining control and their stacks adjusting. To get to Graham. Haven't called his name much. We have called this man. Dinkelberg. He's got it. Pump fakes. Goes with the around backhand. It's great because now you get the continuation break backhand. And they had a shot. They didn't take it. Lots of patience. Tom Bissett gets forward. Dan Cullen marking Graham. Graham back to Bissett. Bissett again has that inside. And it's a huge bid. It's a game-saving bid. And he gets the guns out and says, look at me. And it's Michael Caffra having some kind of game. What a matchup between him and Dinkelberg. Good respect between both players. Give it a little low five. And now Carnage have another chance, but it's going to be Chris Waller. He moves DK up out of the space. Brown marking him really well. Brown half a sniff. He goes in. Chicken gets the gainer. Bissett marking him. He goes for the big gainer to Alex. They're all buggered. They're all out on their feet because there's another D. End to end. Tommy Bissett, he lets one go. It's Bo Brown under it. He catches. He's got no one to throw to. Walker goes through. He throws. Another D. It's a goal. Caffrey can't do it. And the Pelicans have won a fantastic universe point. And look at them go. They are all in.
All of the players on field, on the ground, exhausted after an enormous game from both sides, taking a moment to recompose. Pelicans getting around each other, getting each other off the ground, supporting each other through this game. What an absolute hit out to start us off in the knockout rounds of this tournament.
And I mean, it's just such a shame that this game was the pre-quarter. The quality of that, you'd see that in a minimum quarter-final, if not a semi or the final. What a treat. Heartbreak for Carnage. Got to say they were kind of on top right until the end there, but credit to the temerity, the grit, the passion of the Pelicans.
If we see that again, Bo Brown's throwing the assist up into the air, able to get a player under it. Bissett's beautiful long put. Bo Brown solidifying it into his chest. Two-hand grab, no issues. Looks to pass behind him, gives it a moment, and gets it out ahead. Both players having a bit of body in it, but able to solidify the win for them. That was James Walker coming down with the score.
And so as we see the teams fold into a huddle to talk about what you could only describe as an epic game at 2:50 local in about 9 minutes' time. We have another Melbourne grudge match, Ellipsis Pilcrow versus the Melbourne Phoenix. Ellipsis versus another heads of state team. And there's the tail of the tape. 4 breaks each, 15 turns.
And 5 clean holds to 4. Craigieburn Pelicans just able to get up on them. 12-11 to Craigieburn Pelicans. What a game to watch. Don't go far because we'll be right back on the same channel in a different stream watching another grudge match between some Victorian teams. I'm Marin. You've been here with me and my co-host. We'll be right back for another game soon.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
ULTI.TV.